Hi everyone, my name is Ott Salmar and I'm head of sales at CloudVisor. And obviously you all know today's topic is AWS cost saving hacks to reduce your spend. And we also have Jonas Jovaisas, customer success manager here, who will be delivering the presentation today. So Jonas, do you want to say hi again to the audience?
Hi everyone.
I'm very happy to have him and all of you enjoy joining this event, and I actually hope you will find it interesting and useful. But before we begin, let me just say a few words about CloudVisor and what we do for those of you who haven't heard of us before. As Jonas already put up the next slide, then we are an advanced tier AWS partner operating in the Baltics and Nordics. And we work very closely with AWS to support current and new AWS users. It's important note to this is that the majority of our clients are startups. Therefore, we're very familiar with the ins and outs of building a startup, especially in terms of the infrastructure and scaling thereof. Jonas, you already put up the next slide, so great. This is a slide of our main business line, which is AWS Resell. It's basically all of our clients are using it. It just means that if you switch your billing of AWS services to us, you have an option between 4 different things, what you can choose and get some savings from it. So an immediate discount on what you're already spending on AWS, keep the extra cash to yourself, or donate it to a non-governmental organization through CloudVisor, or you can get 5 hours of CloudVisor's specialist time for every 10K you spend on AWS. And on top of that, the 4th plan we'll introduce very soon is the observation plan, which offers you top-notch dashboards that will help you monitor your infrastructure 24/7. All of those options are kind of like free add-ons to just switching your billing. So there's no extra hidden costs there. And then, of course, our clients start saving on AWS on average between 15 to 40%. And not only because we give them an immediate discount, but also because we perform audits and share the best practices on how to save. And in this webinar, we'll also share some bits of that wisdom we've accumulated over time. And as I mentioned before, Jonas will be our speaker, and my role will be to support him along the way, or if his connection cuts off. So before passing the screen to him, I want to mention 2 things regarding the workflow. First of all, questions are very welcome. Please submit them in the Q&A or the chat part, and we will just go through them during the presentation or after it's done. And second, as you all saw, we're already recording, then we will also share the recording with everyone tomorrow. And that's it from the intro part from my side. Jonas, you ready?
Sure thing. Thanks a lot for a great introduction. And thank you all guys for joining us today. I hope that this webinar will be interesting and you will learn a thing or two. So, as Ott already told, I'm not in the best internet country today. So if I cut out, sorry for that. And to make this webinar a bit more interactive, we have prepared a question for you at the end of the presentation. Stay alert, listen to me, and I think it will help you to answer it correctly. And you will be able to win an awesome CloudVisor t-shirt. 3 of them, actually. The one that Ott is wearing today. Sadly, I don't have it with me on vacation. So we can start and talk about the agenda for today. And this presentation will take about 20 minutes. And after that, we will have a Q&A. So I will cover 5 easy and 5 moderate difficulty AWS savings tips. And I hope you will learn a thing or two, and that will help to lower your AWS cloud bill. Also, I would like to mention that there is no single magical thing or feature that you can adjust to lower your bill significantly. However, you must use a combination of tools and best practices to yield the best results. So without further ado, I think we can start and go on our first easy tip, which is to set a budget and overspend alerts. You will not believe how few companies have their budgets set up correctly, and don't be one and set it up. It can be as simple as a total monthly bill threshold, or as complex as you like. For example, you can set it per resource stack, per time frame, per forecasted project spending, or else. So when you hit a threshold, you will get alerted via email or to a subscribed SNS topic. And basically, it's just so obvious tip that's so highly recommended from our side, and it will save you from costly surprises and save you money in the long run. Our second easy tip is the thing that Ott, I think, will jump in and talk about, because it's his area. So Ott?
Yes, let me just quickly jump in here. And the main thing, obviously, is that once you're a startup starting out, always bootstrapping in the beginning, money is tight. So AWS has created this Activate program, which basically means that you can get up to $100,000 worth of AWS credits through your life cycle. And it starts obviously with smaller amounts and can grow, and there's more kind of structure behind how you are able to first get 1,000, then 5, then 20, and then so on. So if you want to know more about that side of how the credits work, and you actually have gotten some or haven't gotten some, it's fine either way. Then you just let me know. We'll have a meeting and look at your specifics on how you could actually get the maximum from AWS.
Yeah, and you can fill out a form at our website. It's cloudwatch.eu/4startups. Or you can reach out via his email or find it on the LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have the links pasted into the chat as well.
Hand, right?
So anybody who wants, just feel free to let me know.
Yep. Okay, so let's proceed. And here's a question for you. How much does the cloud cost? And I think the answers will vary, but the most common is that you pay only for what you use. You surely have heard that phrase, and from that phrase is conveyed by every cloud provider out there. However, sometimes reality strikes in the form of huge bills, and seemingly they come out of nowhere. So actually, you pay only for what you order. So is there a way to know how much to actually order? Well, here comes our third easy tip: to use AWS Compute Optimizer service. We recommend to leverage AWS services, and the Compute Optimizer service is a free service that you can opt in, and it will check the EC2 and Lambda usage. It will report your results back in 14 days, and it will include the information such as your instances utilization, whether they are underutilized or overutilized, and also some Lambda usage metrics. It uses CloudWatch performance metrics in the background, such as CPU, memory, disk space, and network utilization. And as a result, they will the recommendations will come with some suggestions which instances should be changed to which types, and you can also see the proposed savings you can have. Here is a dashboard of the Compute Optimizer with the results in some region. And here you can see that the client has some 13 instances, and 4 of them are under provisioned, which needs to be increased. 8 of them are over provisioned, which have to be downsized. And there's also some problems with those scaling groups. While not in the scope of this service, we recommend taking a brief look at your RDS instances usage. You can do that by going to the CloudWatch and choosing the RDS. and therefore there you can determine whether they are right-sized. Unfortunately, this service currently does not encompass the RDS service. And after you decide to change one instance type to another, we would like to share one extra resource with you. This is the instances.vantage.sh. And this nifty tool makes it easy to compare prices of different instance families and sizes, and it has very convenient filtering features. So we recommend always double checking, comparing instances pricing, and choosing the best for your needs. Let's next on our fourth tip, which is to utilize reserved instances and savings plans. These are two main methods to significantly reduce your cloud spend, so it's kind of important to at least get an understanding of them. First, reserved instances are here for a long run, and they have been around for more than 5 years now. And they offer a discount up to 72%, according to AWS, of course, but typically they average around 30 to 50% range. And you have to commit for 1 or 3 years. How does this work? Well, the reserved instances provide you a discounted hourly rate for the instances they are applied to. So actually, you just order an instance, launch it, and if you have a reserved instance purchased for that type, you are paying less for it. There are 3 types of these reserved instances. One is standard reserved instance, so it offers the biggest discount up to 72%, and it is best suited for a steady state usage workloads, and this is the only reserved instance type that you can actually sell on the market. Next is convertible reserved instances. It is a way more flexible option, offers up to 54% discount. And it actually allows you to change the attributes such as instance type, family, size, region, to actually exchange that convertible reserved instance that you have bought to another one. And the only requirement is that the resulting reserved instances that you changed into is of greater value. And the last, third option, it is the least used option actually. It's called scheduled arise, and it basically just lets you launch instances with a discount within the time windows you reserve. So it might be useful for workloads that run for some hours every week or some days every month. And reserved instances pricing can also be found in the pricing tool we showed you in the last tip, so be sure to check that out. Next on to savings plans, which are a bit different in working method. While with reserved instances, you reserve capacity and choose the type of instance that you will be using. With savings plans, you actually commit to the spending, actual spending that you are going to incur. And also the difference is that reserved instances and savings plans cover a bit of different services. Some services overlap, some services are different. So take a look at the documentation when you want to decide which of them is more suitable to you, or ask us. So the discount of the savings plans is also up to 72%, but yeah, typically average around 30 to 50%, and the commitment is also 1 to 3 years. So the types of the savings plans are EC2 instances. These are much alike standard reserved instances, but they are a bit more flexible, so that you can change the instance family, size, operating system, tenancy, and even AWS region. However, you cannot sell it. The compute savings plans is like all-in-one compute savings package, because it not only includes EC2 service but it also includes the serverless compute engine Fargate and Lambda. So it allows you to combine these savings and from different AWS compute engines into one, and you can even then distribute your workloads more to Lambda, more to EC2, or as the demand requires. So this is a very flexible option, and it's our recommended one. And the third one is the machine learning savings plans, which allows you to lower your machine learning and AI-related costs in SageMaker. And the bottom line is that savings plans are a bit confusing at first sight, so we strongly recommend you to reach out to us and evaluate which type and how much worth of the savings plans you actually need. In this picture, you can see the 3 instance families and 3 different payment options. As you can see, on-demand costs the most, and the standard reserved instances or EC2 savings plans cost the least. So there's a trend always. The more flexible the option, the less discount you will get. Okay, let's move on to our 5th easy tip, which is to use the newest generation instances and block storage types. AWS constantly innovates and introduces new generation instances and block storage types every year. So be sure to follow the news and watch the reInvent events, as it is the main show where they unveil these new generation products. To get the maximum bang for your buck, we recommend choosing the latest and greatest from AWS. And it's more often than not very easy to migrate from older generation to newer generation of instances or block storages. And the coolest and the newest instance of them all is currently the AWS Graviton 2 ARM-based instance. It comes in several families, and it offers up to 40% better price-performance ratio than standard Intel CPU-based instances. So whether your workload can accept and work on ARM architecture, be sure to check this out and move your workloads as they are fit. Okay, we are done with the easy ones, and so let's advance to the moderate difficulty tips. And the first one is to use autoscaling to scale your compute resources with the demand. All right, what does it take to do that? First, you have to set up an autoscaling group, obviously, behind a load balancer, and then you can reduce the EC2 instances quantity and their size at work. Eventually, that means that you let the demand control your instances fleet size. In the background, it uses CloudWatch metrics to launch and suspend instances. And this tip is of moderate difficulty because it is dependent on your current application architecture. It's not suitable for monolithic architectures because you can't break them down into smaller pieces and scale them independently. So if your application is quite modern, be sure to leverage autoscaling instead of 1 or 2 big instances. Second tip is to use resource scheduling. And the main idea is to turn off the resource while you don't need them. So it's quite obvious thing to do, but in the cloud, we often forget to do that because in the cloud, everything is always accessible, but there might be some workloads that don't have to be 24/7 accessible. So why pay for them while you don't use them? Suitable candidates could be in non-prod environments that are not used after work hours, let's say, or during weekends. And to do that, you can either deploy your own scripts or make use of AWS pre-built instance scheduler solution, which can be deployed easily via CloudFormation template. And here's the link of it in the slide. Third moderate difficulty tip is to utilize Spot instances. I'm sure you have heard of Spot, but I will talk about it either way. So using spot instances is a smart way to lower your cost in AWS Cloud. Basically, you just bid your price on the spot market to run your workloads. And spot instances cost up to 90% less than on-demand instances. So whether your workload allows, be sure to check the spot and make use of it whenever you can. And Spot works best with the containerized and time-insensitive workloads that can be interrupted, because Spot will give you 2-minute notification that your instance can be suspended because of the pricing differences in the market. And these workloads can be like calculations, renderings, image processing, monthly invoicing tasks, and etc. So the Spot instances, as you can see, can be utilized in EC2, EMR, ECS, and some other AWS services. So be sure to check them out and use whenever you can. And our second to last tip is to try finding other idle or underutilized resources. And I think it's time for a cleanup to look for orphaned and unattached EBS volumes and snapshots, load balancers without target groups, idle Dynamo TB tables, free Elastic IP addresses. These are like all of the leftovers that might be still present and still costing you money, but doing no good for you. Also, we recommend while you're at it to set up S3 lifecycle rules to move your S3 data to most cost-efficient tiers, because why have it costing 3 times as much as it could cost? So just make use of simple S3 lifecycle rules. So these altogether, if not controlled, will bring your costs up. And after some cleaning, you will have a better overview of your infrastructure. So it's a win-win. And one of the ways to avoid this mess is to actually use resource tagging policy. And basically what it is, its main idea is that every resource that you create would have an associated tag. And then you can filter your resources by the tag and by the resource type and check for any leftovers after changes are made. So for example, you are changing your application version and creating another environment, separate environment. And after you're happy, you want to shut down the old environment. However, which resources were tied with that old environment? Will you remember all of them? So that's where the resource tagging comes in handy. And this is a best practice that you should have started using yesterday. And it's an AWS recommended way to keep track of your resources. And our last tip today is to try AWS Trusted Advisor. And this tip suits best to the customers that have already an AWS business support plan ordered, because with it they have access to the cost optimization metrics, to the performance, to the security, and to the fault tolerance recommendations and remediation actions. So actually, it not only offsets the cost of the business support plan for you by giving these cost optimization suggestions, so it will automatically catch the issues that you might otherwise miss. So be sure to check out if you have a business support plan. And if you do not have the business support plan and you have production workloads running in AWS, I would strongly recommend consider using it. And I think we are done with the tips for today. So it's time for the question, which I mentioned before. So imagine that your company wants to right-size your EC2 instances. And the question is, which is the AWS suggested service to check for EC2 instances right-sizing recommendations? And there are 3 answers. A, AWS Compute Optimizer, B, Amazon CloudWatch, and C, AWS Autoscaling. So please type your answer in the chat box, and 3 lucky ones who answer first will receive awesome CloudWiser t-shirts, such as the Hot has one today. Let us wait for the answers. Okay, I see Ahmed has already posted his, and Giedris too, and Chris also, and I must congratulate all of them because they are right. Yeah, the Compute Optimizer is the service that you should be checking to see whether your EC2 instances are right-sized. So this is the recommended way to go. So, Ot, would you care to join in and talk a minute about our resale?
Yeah, for sure. Put it on the next slide. But congrats again to Giedrius, Ahmed, and Chris for winning the cool T-shirts. So now we can go out to party together with all the matching T-shirts. But yeah, thanks Jonas for a great presentation. And to sum it all up, as I mentioned in the beginning, there are different options you can choose from once if you use AWS and you switch billing to us. But the main thing is that you will spend less and get more for your money. And also the things we covered in today's webinar, you don't really need to implement any of these tips. We can do all of that for you. So it's all up to you, obviously, but that was our goal, to kind of like give you an idea, and then also if you want help with implementation, we can do that. Next slide, please. And we encourage you to be like Bill. If you're interested in knowing more, as I said before, just schedule a call with me. We're gonna add the link to my calendar to this chat as well. And or fill in the contact form on our website. So we'll get in touch either way. And thanks for being with us today for this 27 minutes. And if you have any questions or thoughts or anything, just feel free to reach out, either Jonas or me by email or LinkedIn. And other than that, it looks like it's a wrap for today's event. So again, thanks everyone. Thank you, Jonas. Thank the attendees and everybody who put it together. And we're looking forward to meeting you in other CloudWiser events as well. So thanks.
Yeah, and I see Ahmed has just wrote that he will join CloudWiser actually starting from tomorrow, and we didn't know that. So welcome on board, Ahmed. We'll be sure to see you soon.
Right.
And as I see, there are no questions flowing in. I think that's it. But yeah, as Ot mentioned, whenever you have any questions, you can reach both of us, and we'll take care of you and your problems.
For sure. All right, everybody.
Okay, so thanks everyone. And I think we will meet in our next webinar. So stay tuned to our news and take care. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Chris.
Bye.
All right.